Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts and Decepticlowns. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers on television. I'm one of your hosts, Nero.
And I'm your other host, Audrey.
And I'm here to ask you, dear listeners, what's cooler than a robot? A robot who can turn into a big fucking bulldozer. What's cooler than a robot who can turn into a big fucking bulldozer? A robot who can turn into a big bulldozer wearing a poncho.
And what's cooler than that guy? A robot that turns into two robots that combine into one robot who is also a motorcycle.
That's right. Today we are talking about Transformers Armada, episodes 14 and 15, which are bringing some much-needed spice into the show. We're finally getting some cast expansions here. Each side gets a new guy.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Each side gets a new guy that neither of them really want.
Each side gets a new guy that everyone is sort of, what's going on with these guys about? But yeah, so let's see. Should we just hop right into episode 14 here?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
In the dub, this is Overmatch.
In the sub, it is Formidable Warrior.
Sort of the same. One thing I really like about this is the very beginning is just, you just see Scavenger just sort of ominously standing on a cliff in front of the moon. Like, there's no music or dialogue. Well, there is music, but there's no dialogue. He's just standing there, menacingly.
It'd be really funny if it was, like, completely silent, though, without any music.
just some guy standing there. I will mention that the intros are now going back and forth. This episode has Rad doing the intro. The next episode has the narrator. So they're just sort of swapping back and forth with no real pattern. But I do believe once we hit the halfway point, we're gonna when the Unicron Battles subtitle gets applied, we'll be exclusively introed in by the narrator here.
No rules, just right.
No rules, just right. So we start off in media res. It's another minicon hunt. The Decepticons are out on some mountain cliff at night. You know, just doing their thing.
For some reason, Starscream flies into the cliff, like, not, like, in an accident way. He, like, flies, transforms, and then, like, hangs off the cliff wall, and then Sandstorm's like, I see it, it's above you, and rather than fly up to it, he's like, alright, I'm gonna climb up the wall.
Well, I guess he's already there.
I mean, I guess, but, like, why did any of this happen?
Why, they're, you know, like, Scavenger makes a point, this is all very messy. I don't know what the fuck any of these guys are doing, and it certainly isn't helped when, Hotshot appears and starts racing up the mountain to get the minicon before Starscream does.
Yeah. Hotshot does a lot of flying in these episodes, huh?
Yeah, he's got like an 80-foot vertical leap. He just ramps off of shit. And here we see the sort of main problem that the Decepticons have been facing as of late, which is the fact that this Hotshot has the Star Saber and is just going to completely wreck their shit whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
He fucks them up in this episode.
Yeah. It's not great.
So, as Hotshot takes on all three of the Decepticons here, he tells Smokescreen to go for the minicon in his stead. And so, in short order, he fucking nearly slices Starscream's arm clean off, making him, like, fall down the cliff in a very undignified manner. He fucking cuts Demolisher's, like, shoulder missiles off. He doesn't cut... Oh, no, I remember what happens to Cyclones in this one, because we get the my poor butt line later in this episode. But what happens is, it's a real Rube Goldberg, like, murder time here. Because Hotshot slides down the fucking cliff, Starscream grabs his sword, Hotshot slices through his sword, which spins his wing, which causes his wing to go spinning through the air, which cuts Cyclonus' arm off.
Yeah, and now he can't fly either.
So no one can fly. Demolisher his missiles are gone. It is just like they're completely fucked in this situation. Hotshot is just stunting on all of them. Although I think what happens before Demolisher gets his shit wrecked is actually what happens is that he questions an order for once, which is a note that I took, because that's rare for him. Because we see that this entire time, Megatron has been hiding behind a rock. And he tells Demolisher, hey, why don't you go charge in there? I'll back you up. I sure will. And Demolisher turns to look at him and goes, I don't will you? And Megatron's like, yeah. It's fine. Just go. I'm right there with you. And he's not right there with him. Because actually no, that's even better. In the dub, Demolisher turns and is like, why aren't you gonna come with me? And Megatron's answer is, I have things to do. Great. Yep. Cool leadership, bro.
I literally can't remember what he says in the sub, but it's what we see in this episode actually is that Starscream is far and away the bravest character in this entire series, and that is genuinely so funny to me.
Yeah, he is the one who is so eager to prove himself in battle. He is brave, and he is he barely resembles any Starscream.
He's so brave and so honorable.
Yeah. Two things that I am always saying this about Starscream.
These things have never been said about Starscream in any other continuity ever.
Before or since. This is the only one. But yeah, so obviously Hotshot completely trashes Demolisher.
So fucking orange.
And Megatron just has to leave because all his boys got completely fucking wrecked. So, they all just leave, and Smokescreen appears hey, I found a new guy, and his partner's name is Liftor.
It's just Lift.
Yeah, I mean, he's a forklift. That's what he does.
Yeah, it's just Lift in the sub.
But I do love, my favorite part of that entire sequence is probably Cyclonus being taken out by Starscream's spinning wing blade. That
is some, Final Destination type shit.
No one can catch a break here. And so we also, and this is where Optimus comes up and is of course is all right, listen. You are riding high. I understand you have a fucking unbeatable ancient super weapon, but don't let it go to your head. And Hotshot says, too late. It is already in my head. But then, of course, we see the ominous figure standing overlooking this, and Optimus glances up at it meaningfully. Or the space where he once was, because he's vanished! Because he's mysterious.
Right, and that's just what you do.
So, we go back to the base, auto base that is, and Rad is very mad that apparently the fridge has been filled with tools. I don't really know why.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was in the sub.
But because they got the mini fridge obviously for human stuff, but it's just full of wrenches and oil cans, and Rad's come the fuck on! I'm trying to get a soda here,
right?
And Carlos comes up and is like, oh yeah, we're running low on food, so Alexis took Sure Shock, who they keep calling Grindor in this scene and the next scene.
I mean,
it keeps happening.
Will she ever be called Sure Shock again?
She will.
Unclear.
I have to believe it. But Alexis took Sure Shock to the store, and then we cut to.
Yeah. Hey, you thought we were done stealing from Home Alone? We were not.
Absolutely not. We cut to the fucking grocery store, and Alexis is hanging out with Sure Shock, who is dressed in a human costume.
She just put 3 sweaters on her and called it a day.
We're really doing some fucking...
And it is clearly not a good disguise. It is clearly as bad a disguise as it looks, in universe, because on their way out, one person, a kid...
It's the same kid from the fucking tunnel episode, from the city episode.
like, looks, I hope this becomes, like, a nice running joke for the entirety of it, like, looks straight into her face and goes, Bobby, it's a robot. And she's like, that's nice, dear, again, and drags him out.
Yep. I do hope this kid is, just keeps reappearing. And also, can I just say, this is not the last time they're gonna bring mini-cons out dressed up in, like, the fucking Ninja Turtle disguise from the movie.
The fucking, like, E.T. shit.
Absolutely. Like, why did she take Sure Shock? I guess she needed a ride, but you can just park her outside. She's a scooter. It's okay.
She wanted to bond with RC. It's girl time.
Yeah. And so after she gets back with the groceries, Red Alert is not happy with this. It's like, all right, I don't really think it's wise to take the mini-cons out to do fucking errands. That seems like a fucking recipe for disaster. Do you not remember the last time you took the mini-cons out for like a fun outing? Don't you remember what happened then?
Nope, we have no short-term memory.
And then Red Alert says, yeah, okay, obviously here, you humans need to, stay put. I know you're mad that we're not taking you out into the field anymore because it's getting more and more dangerous. Please ignore the next episode. But look, I upgraded Laserbeak, and now I can do more things. I was kind of unclear on what it does. I think what it can do now is that they can talk through Laserbeak, I believe, is what the new thing is. They can like be there without being there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And regardless, this is Red Alert kind of settling into the role he will be in for most of this show.
Support,
which is like babysitter. He just hangs out watching the base, which after seeing his true colors last episode, I'm fine with him not being on the battlefield. He's a scary motherfucker.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, like I said, party ambulance, right?
Uh-huh.
Ratchets in every continuity are secretly very scary.
So we cut up to the moon base now, and Megatron is like, I cannot fucking believe this shit. As we see, we just cut over everyone trying to repair themselves. We see Starscream like grafting his arm back on. Demolisher has his missiles wrapped up in bandages, which is very funny. And Megatron is like, this is fucking ridiculous. You are all performing so badly. And then that mysterious guy from the opening comes in, and what I love about Scavenger is that he just walks in and just starts trash talking everyone, including Megatron. He's like, you suck, you suck, you suck, you especially suck. I'm here. I have been brought on as a third-party contractor to help you idiots get your shit together.
Yeah, he's interesting. So his name is Devastor in the Japanese, which is very interesting because Scavenger is one of the Constructicons, which, by the way, like, Scavenger is as close to his original self as I think any of, like, the non-main characters.
He is the clearest, homage to a past G1 character, yeah.
Yeah, to because he turns into a shovel truck.
Yeah.
Which is what Scavenger in G1 turned.
Bulldozer, which is technically
you're right.
Crusher.
You're right. See, I forgot that he's a right, but he's still at least like a construction vehicle.
And he's got the green. The green is the most important.
Right? Yeah, he has the green and purple coloring, so he's like the clearest. Except I mean, obviously, Optimus looks like Optimus, and I think he's a clearer callback than Megatron is.
Megatron's design in Armada is pretty different from most of the Megatrons, yeah.
Megatron doesn't look like much, and like maybe Starscream. Starscream is fairly similar, but he's a pretty close analog to G1 Scavenger in terms of design. And the Constructicons were Gestalt, and they combined into Devastator, which is why it is very interesting to me that his Japanese name is Devastor.
Yeah, it's cool. Of course, G1 Scavenger doesn't really have much of a personality. A lot of the Constructicons for a very long time were pretty much interchangeable. I think maybe the only ones that had a really... I mean, obviously, Long Haul, with his endless complaining, sticks out.
I wasn't going to say him. I actually think Scavenger and Hook were the only two with actual personalities.
Hook was the other one I was going to bring up, because he was like a weird fancy man in the cartoon, at least.
Scavenger was the leader of the Constructicons, so
no,
I
that's
felt
Scrapper.
Oh, you're right, it was Scrapper.
See, there are so many green construction vehicles with names who start with S on that team.
It's really just Scavenger and Scrapper, but I do always get the two of them confused. Sorry,
Right.
so I was going to say that, like, Scrapper and Hook were the only two with the personality.
Yeah. I don't really remember what G1 Scavenger was like his little blurb bio, but regardless, Armada Scavenger is a hard-ass mercenary here to whip these idiots into shape. Which I like.
Yeah.
Because Megatron mentions, like, I hired this guy, he's a merc, and trust me, it wasn't my first choice, but I kind of didn't have much else I could do, considering the poor state of my operations here.
Considering that you all suck shit, and we've been in this war for 4 million years.
Yep. And so, Scavenger's like, alright, listen. Clearly... all you motherfuckers are getting your ass beat by the Star Saber over and over again. You need to find a way to beat it, and I might be able to help you with that. Also, Starscream gets real pissed off at him, and I believe attempts to attack him, but Scavenger, like, stops him with a held out hand. He doesn't even grab him or anything. He just hovers his hand in front of his face, like, yeah, try it. See what happens.
Yeah, though I think, like, literally the only kind word he has to anyone in this entire scene is somewhat to Starscream.
Yes. He's like, yeah, you're the only one around here with a fucking backbone, basically, is what he says.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, you're braver than Megatron is, for sure, and Megatron's like, what?
Excuse me? Yeah, no, he's like, yeah, you were the only one who, like, stood your ground. Yeah, you got your ass beat, but you know what? That's more respectable than that guy hiding behind a rock over there.
And also not your fault. I will prove this to you later on.
Yes. So we cut to what I assume is Scotland. It looks very Scottish. It's some island, very misty, very grassy, where Scavenger is walking around looking for a minicon, and he picks it up, and this minicon is color-coded. It's got a yellow panel instead of a green one.
Yeah, new guy just dropped.
What could this mean? We'll learn later. So,
what, you haven't heard the legend of the yellow Microns already?
That's basically what Scavenger says at the end. Oh, haven't you heard? So... have
you heard the good news?
He grabs his minicon, and we don't really know why he's doing this yet. Because the other ones aren't here. But... we get another minicon alert. Actually, we don't even see anyone moving out. We just cut, and when the scene comes back up, everyone is on this island already, like getting ready for a duel, basically. Hotshot obviously has the Star Saber.
Yeah, and he's gonna go. He's like, all right, I was going up against this guy over here, and he like looks at Scavenger, and Starscream's like, no. We're gonna duel the right way, we're gonna do this honorably, and I'm gonna be your fucking opponent because I'm big mad about what you did to me last time.
Yeah, Starscream is, like, extremely pissed about losing to Hotshot. Like, he wants to prove himself, and he's like, no. You are fighting me, I am your opponent, and they have a cool anime sword duel.
Yeah, it's very neat. Optimus is like, hey, right before they start, actually, Megatron's like, yeah, Starscream, go and win this. And Starscream just under his breath goes, shut up already.
Yeah, basically it's the same thing, and the Dove is like, yeah, whatever.
And, like, Optimus is like, I'm actually not so sure about this, actually. And, like, moves to interrupt, but Devastator's like, don't you do it. Ho, don't do it.
Yeah, we learned... I should say, before we get to that scene, I did forget, Hotshot does go to town on the Decepticons for a little bit with the Star Saber. This is where we get the immortal line from Cyclonus, my butt! What have you done to my poor butt? As he slices his tail rotor off with the Star Saber.
He he cut that butt right off.
He getting that that juicy butt meat right off there.
He uncaked Cyclonus.
My cake! What have you done to my poor cake? So, yeah, Cyclonus now buttless, crashed to the ground. That's when Starscream challenges Hotshot to one-on-one, and this is also where we learn something about Scavenger, because Hotshot is like, hey Optimus, what the fuck is up with this guy? Do you know him? And Scavenger's like, yeah, you could say we know each other.
Yeah, so, like, Optimus is going to interrupt and Devastator's like, oh, don't do it, and Optimus is like, okay, and everyone's like, why are you saying okay?
When he's like, apparently Scavenger taught Optimus everything he knows about combat. Scavenger is Optimus's fucking mentor.
Hey, Optimus, just as, like, a thought, maybe you shouldn't have taken advice from a guy named Devastator. Did you think about that?
It's fine. Don't worry about it. How else could he be such a badass unless he took lessons from a guy named Devastator? Yeah, so this is where the sword duel happens, and this is honestly pretty cool. Starscream actually manages to, like, hold his own here. He is like, and not only to hold his own, he fucking slashes Hotshot's face.
Yeah, so everyone is watching this, and Optimus feels so uneasy watching this because even though Hot Rod has the Star Saber, he looks at Starscream and he's like, Starscream is way, way, way more determined to win.
Yeah, because, like, Hotshot clearly is just coasting on the Star Saber. He's like, I got my cool thing, I don't really need to try. Starscream is filled with determination.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, and he's doing a really, really good job in bullet hell. But, and I think this is an interesting moment for a couple reasons. Namely that, for such a throwaway line, this is sort of going back, again, to the core thesis of Starscream's character in the series, which is that everyone sort of recognized, which is that he is desperate, and desperate means dangerous.
Yeah.
And I think it's really effectively used here, where it's like Starscream has something to prove here, and Hot Rod doesn't, and that is the core difference to the way they are approaching this duel. And Optimus is like, yikes, no motive. Yikes!
Yeah, Optimus is like, oh man, he's gonna get his ass kicked. And he almost does. He nearly loses, but the Star Saber saves his ass and does some, like, mini-con bullshit to defeat Starscream. And Scavenger immediately steps in like, yeah, you didn't win shit.
Yeah, Scavenger is like, you cheated not only the game, but also yourself.
And then he proceeds to fucking hand Hotshot his ass on a silver platter.
Yeah, he's like, the only reason you won is because of the Star Saber, and Hot Rod's like, that's not true, and he's like, hey, want to find out? Fuck around. And then Hot Rod proceeds to fuck around, and then he proceeds to find out.
He finds out hard. Scavenger is blocking the Star Saber with his fucking arms. This man doesn't care.
Fog don't care.
He like, at one point because his arms have his fucking bulldozer treads on them, at one point he, like, traps the Star Saber in the treads and just knees Hotshot in the stomach. He just...
It's pretty brutal.
He completely fucking owns him, and the Star Saber clatters to the ground, and just as he's about to approach to get it, Optimus steps in and is like, you know what? Nope. You want the Star Saber? You go through me, all right. Luckily, though, Cyclonus somehow finds a minicon. I don't know where that came from. Who could have found that minicon and placed it somewhere where an idiot like Cyclonus could have found it? So all of the Decepticons warp away, and interestingly enough,
we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know. The Decepticons all warp away, and interestingly enough, this is kind of giving Hotshot a similar drive to Starscream, because he is like, I am going to fucking kick Scavenger's ass. I hate that dude so much. But he also learns a lesson like, yeah, you can't like rely on the Star Saber to win fights. You actually have to be good at combat to do that shit. And if you try to just use your sword and coast through life, you are going to get your shit kicked in by real G's like me. And then he fucking just I'm pretty sure he like punches Hotshot in the gut a few times too. Like Scavenger doesn't have any weapons or guns. He just punches. He's just really good at punching.
Yeah. Whatever he does to Hot Rod flashes the wasted screen from Grand Theft Auto
absolutely.
And falls over.
So we cut up to the moon base here.
He's expressionless when he falls over. You've never seen that little expression on Hot Rod's face before.
Yeah, he is so down after this fight. We cut up to the moon base, and Megatron is trying to open that minicon up again, and it's not waking up. And then and he's like, why the fuck is the minicon not responding? And Scavenger says, oh, haven't you heard?
It's literally Scavenger chuckled. Oh, you mean the Chaos Shield?
Yeah, listen. All this fucking time, this sword has been giving you so much trouble. Guess what? There's a shield that can block the sword. Dumbasses.
It's actually Sandstorm, remarkably, who suggests it at first. He's the one. He's like, hey, listen, Lord Megatron, remember how we couldn't wake up any of the Star Saber Microns without the other Star Saber Microns? What if it's like the same thing here? And Megatron's like, I haven't heard of anything like that. And that's when Devastator is like, oh, you mean the Chaos Emeralds?
Oh, you mean the Skyboom Shield. And we're sort of in on Megatron laughing to himself about this fact. Like, oh, I know something the Autobots don't. Very funny. Yeah, I don't remember if Cyclonus is the one who says it in the dub. I feel like I would have remarked on that if he was.
I noted it because I was like, I can't believe that was something from Sandstorm.
Wow, he intuited something.
Yeah.
He gets a cookie.
It's actually really remarkable how Armada is painting Megatron as both the most cowardly and stupidest of the Decepticons.
It really is. Yeah, him just hiding behind that rock and just letting all of his goons do all the work.
Yeah.
But that brings us into episode 15, which in the dub is called Gale.
It's called Strong Gale in the sub.
Just cutting that word down. So I assume that this opening shot here, where a conspicuous motorcycle lands in the middle of the city, is completely silent in the sub.
I don't remember, but I don't remember any notable dialogue
in
over
the dub,
it.
Rad's like, damn, I love the city. City life is so cool. But you know what? Sometimes fucked up shit happens in the city, and we're about to find out. And then we cut to the opening. It's
cool.
Very strange. Thanks, Rad. So, yeah, we cut
make those voice actors earn their wages.
We cut to the auto base, and Hotshot is just, like, training with the Star Saber, which just means swinging it around. Just being like, I fucking hate Scavenger so much, god damn it.
While having traumatic flashbacks to getting his ass kicked.
Gonna beat his ass. He's Scavenger's living in Hotshot's head rent free. And all the boys are watching Hotshot swing the sword around again and mutter to himself.
Well, sure, I mean, Hot Rod's no leech. He would never charge rent.
Of course. So, yeah, but they're like, we got Carlos, Rad, Billy, and Fred. They're all here hanging out watching Hotshot. And I think Billy and Fred are talking to, I think it's Billy who's like, damn, that Star Saber mean that Hotshot's like the most powerful guy in the universe? And Carlos is like, yeah, maybe not. Don't bring it up to him. He's kind of mad that he got completely owned by a bulldozer yesterday. But they are gassing him up, and they're like, hey man, we will fucking follow you. We got your back, Hotshot. We'll fucking do whatever you want. Wherever you go, we'll follow. And Hotshot's like, thanks guys, that means a lot. Although Rad immediately, his inner monologue is like, it didn't really mean much considering we're just a bunch of like squishy humans, but it's the thought that counts, right? Whatever you tell yourself, Rad. Whatever you tell yourself. So Yeah, Red Alert comes up and says, Hotshot, can you stop swinging that sword around? We have actual work to do. I don't know what you're doing over here, just, like, waving the sword around. It's very, it's that thing is dangerous. That thing destroyed Atlantis.
Yeah, well, they were pussies.
So, the alarm is going off again. Alexis, while the boys are just watching Hotshot swing a super weapon around, Alexis is actually doing actual real work in the bridge, helping.
This is
Optimus.
why she gets to be president.
Yes, exactly. She's helping Hotshot triangulate the location of this new minicon. It is once again in the city, and so Optimus is like, well, we got to be careful about this one, and he is for once reticent about letting the kids come along.
Well, Optimus is?
I believe it's him.
Okay, because everyone else is immediately, I made sure, like, they're like, okay, time to go, and Hot Rod turns to everyone and goes, alright, you guys come too! And literally all four of them, except for Alexa, are like, fuck yeah, and Alexa's like, you guys, like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this anymore, and they're like, are you gonna hurt Hot Rod's feelings like that? He asked us specifically to come with him, so...
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It is kind of like that, but Optimus is like, well, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of dangerous, but what do you think? But if they come along, listen, Hotshot. They can come along, but they're your responsibility.
Yeah, that makes sense. What a terrible leader.
Do not trust... You're already trusting a Hotshot with a little much, considering you gave him the Star Saber. I don't think you should trust him with the safety of these four children. But yeah, they bring him along for this one. We keep, let's see here. Yeah, so we see Cyclonus and Demolisher.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, we've identified it. It's off of a like major highway. Okay, cool. We have an overshot of this busy highway, and there's like a construction, like a under construction blocked off exit. That leads to a tunnel where Sandstorm and Ironhide are just standing.
They're just standing there.
They're just like it's an exit, but it's maybe like 50 feet away.
Yeah,
people can definitely no. This is how I know this is horseshit, because if there were two robots on the side of the road, everyone would slow down to a bottleneck, and then you wouldn't be able to get past it for like 4 hours just staring at the robots.
They're just standing there. Like, there's no way people can't see them from the fucking highway.
Yeah, there's no way. I call horseshit on all this.
But I know who can definitely see them from the highway. It is a conspicuous motorbike. Which we keep seeing shots of as he's cruising down the highway. And we should say, this motorbike has a rider, so clearly it's not a Transformer.
That's just a guy.
That's just a normal guy.
That's just normal human Steve.
Normal human, it's a Norm L. Man from
exactly.
Cup of Greed. So, we see what Cyclonus and Demolisher are sending guard over, and it is we cut into this tunnel, and we see Megatron and Starscream standing around watching Scavenger do all the work. And
so there's a great line where Megatron's like, this is work that he's suited for. Starscream, why don't you go take watch in front of the tunnel? And Starscream's like, yeah, okay, I didn't want to get my hands dirty anyway.
Yeah, in the dub, he says it's very much the same, but he says, "You never catch me playing in the dirt like that." And Scavenger's pretty mad that is like, all right, I kind of thought that I'd get help.
Yeah, I do like that Megatron and Starscream are bonding over their shared disdain for Scavenger.
Nobody likes him. But yeah, he's a fucking excavator bulldozer thing, so like, yeah, he gets to dig. And he's like, listen, Megatron, you want to fucking help? And
no.
Like, no, you're the bulldozer here. What am I supposed to do?
No heart emoji.
Yep. So this is when they spot the Autobots approaching, and Cyclonus causes like a 7-car pileup. He just fucking flies out, buzzes traffic, causing an 18-wheeler to nearly like capsize and cut off the highway. Once again, they're in plain view, and also the military helicopter just buzzed a highway. Someone should be concerned. Listen, I have a lot of questions about the people in these cars, because there's very weird shit happening constantly, right, like, feet away from them, that no one seems concerned about.
Not a cell phone in sight.
Once again, this must be New York, because no one fucking cares. So, yeah, that's normal. Yeah, those are the two giant transforming robots who fucking stand guard over that abandoned tunnel. Man, I hope they get that shit fixed. It's real annoying.
Yeah, man, de Blasio, come on.
So, this is where... So, Optimus... Now, this is interesting. Optimus says, all right, Billy... Because Billy and Fred are riding an Optimus, and he says, all right, you two get out and... Stay here for safety.
So first of all, they like before that happens, he sends Hot Rod off.
Yes, because he's like, go on ahead.
Hot Rod, you can get there. How can Hot Rod get there? By attaching Joe and going off the side of the highway.
Once again, no one seems concerned by the fact that this tiny helicopter just attached to a sports car, and now it flies.
The animation here is something else. The animation for Hot Rod flying is he just like lifts off, and it's like, again, it's like someone dragging an asset over a background, as they go off. And then, so, Carlos and Rad are in Hot Rod.
Yes, that's true. They're backing up their boy. I believe Alexis is in Red Alert, and Billy and Fred are in Optimus, who's like, all right, listen, shit's about to get dicey. Why don't you two just stay here, and you'll be safe? And I do regard... Listen, I haven't stopped questioning Optimus's ideas about what child safety means.
Okay, he has a killer sign-off line here, though, in the sub, which is, we'll definitely pick you up when this is over.
There's also an extremely good line in the dub where Billy is like, come on, man, I thought we were backup. And Optimus responds in a manner like, he's like, yeah, well, you can back us up from here. Now stay here. And then he just drives off. It's the delivery is so good. It's like, yeah, well, you can back us up from here. It is the most uncle thing Optimus has ever said. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm picking up because we identified that Optimus is the cool uncle. That is his like role in this show, but that is the most uncle thing he's said so far. I can't quantify it. It's just the vibes. But regardless, it is very funny, and because also immediately after driving off. Now listen, kids.
Stranger danger.
If a conspicuous motorbike drives up and asks, "Hey, you want to hitch a ride?" You say no.
You say street smarts.
You say street smarts.
But unless you have the kind of apparent gaydar that Billy has, because he immediately clocks, I will call him Sideways for now because I want to get to his line when his name when he reveals it in the sub. He like Sideways drives up and Billy's like, "You're a Transformer, aren't you?"
Yeah, but at the dub, he also says, yeah, this guy must be a Transformer. This fucking bike just talked. But he says, but are you an Autobot or a Decepticon? And judging by dialogue he has later, Billy gets on this bike without knowing the answer to that question. Why?
Well, when you're 12 years old and there's a really cool bike in front of you.
Also, then he just like, there's such a good shot of just Fred standing on the side of the road completely alone later, which is really funny. And also, here's the thing. Here's another thing. So all of this takes place next to completely stopped traffic. So, two middle schoolers dressed in weird orange jumpsuits get out of an 18-wheeler that is otherwise driverless. The truck then speeds off around traffic, leaving the two jumpsuited children standing on the side of the road. Then, a conspicuous motorcycle drives up. One of them gets on, drives away, leaving the other one standing there, and no one rolls down their window and says, "Hey, you good?
Hey now."
You guys good? What's going on here? This some kind of reality show?
No, it's fine.
Like nothing. Meanwhile, Scavenger sees that Hotshot is getting close, so he decides to pursue him. And damn, that's a fast bulldozer.
Yeah.
The fuck kind of bulldozer goes like fucking 90 miles an hour on a highway. So so Cyclonus and Scavenger are just sort of keeping Hotshot away from the main dig, just trying to keep that, he's got that sword. They don't really want him messing with the dig here. And Scavenger is about ready for a rematch, but Cyclonus decides it's time to play a little dirty, and while he's distracted, flies in on Hotshot and shoots him in the back.
Yeah, so, literally everyone's like, Hot Rod behind you, and Hot Rod's like, I know, but I can't look at him right now. Scavenger's in front of me. And then he gets shot in the back. It's so stupid. He's
like, I don't want to turn my back. He's like, it's more like a rock in the hard place thing. Where it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I can turn to look at Cyclonus, and then Scavenger's going to get my ass. But I don't want to turn my back on this guy.
I know, but it's still it's like, I can't turn around. It's like being in a horror game and knowing there's something behind you.
Yeah, so he's blown up and
he's playing PT, and he knows he got to the point where the voice says turn around, and he was like, nope.
Don't want to do it. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm just going to stand right here. And then he does stand right there, and Scavenger seems kind of pissed at Cyclonus for this. So he's like, "Why you fuck off? This is an honor. This is like a duel. I don't need your help." And also, you nearly shot me, asshole.
Yeah.
So this is when a conspicuous motorbike bursts onto the scene. Thankfully, he had a helmet for Billy, I guess, because he's still attached as this fucking motorcycle just speeds around. Making it, all right.
Yeah.
Now, he ramps it, and somehow, I'm not entirely sure how, but he disables Cyclonus by brushing against him. The fucking motorcycle leaps in the air. We see a fucking slice. And then Cyclonus just explodes.
Well, actually, okay. So I'm not sure about the actual, physics behind this, but you'll remember the title of the episode is called Gale or Strong Gale. And there's more allusions to it later on. I think there is something about, the force of wind that Sideways has, access to. Or,
he is a ninja.
Or, utilizes or whatever. So I think that, that might be it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Rad and Carlos have been watching this whole thing, of course, and they see Billy being, dragged along, riding this fucking motorcycle. He's on a hell ride, and he's like, this guy, I don't know if this guy's an Oblate or Decepticon, and I've been kidnapped. And I was like, I don't know if you've been kidnapped. I think you just got on the bike, and then the bike started going fast. And then air tackled a helicopter. And if you aren't ready for that, don't get on conspicuous motorcycles. This is where we see Fred abandoned on the side of the road.
Yeah, well, so there's a couple good lines before this, which is, one is, as Sideways does this, Sandstorm looks down at him and goes, "What the slag are you?"
Give me more of that good old Transformer profanity.
Yeah, which I love. And then as we're watching her decide, Alexa finally rolls up to them with alert, and she's like, "First of all, I can't believe you all left me behind. Fuck you guys." And then she's like, "What happened to Jim?"
Yeah, and then Billy's like, "Oh fuck."
What did happen to Jim, actually? Yeah. Great question.
They just left her there because Billy goes, "Oh shit, I forgot Fred." And then we just cut to him on the side of the road going, "Billy, hey, where'd everybody go?"
Yeah.
I just, yeah. So now that Cyclonus is out of the picture, Hotshot and Scavenger can continue their duel, and it seems to be going pretty all right. Hotshot tries to do like a flying kick, and then Scavenger.
Oh my god, this move rules.
Yeah. So he's Hotshot's like, all right, I'm gonna trip him. I'm gonna do a feint. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna kick him. And Scavenger grabs his foot and says, "Bitch, you thought?" And just slams him onto the ground. He does a fucking anti-air grab on him.
Get dunked on. Not to be a Marvel shill. I'm not a Marvel shill by any means, but it's literally what the Hulk does to Loki at the end of Avengers.
Yeah, he just
like
slams
grabs him
onto
by
the
the
ground.
ankle and slams him into the ground. Get dunked on.
And then he grabs the Star Saber with his bare hand. He's a fucking freak. Scavenger's like a freak of nature.
No one's doing it like Scavenger is.
No one's doing it like Scavenger. And Hotshot's like, okay, I need another plan. This is not gonna work. I need to, figure out another way to do this. So, he chucks the Star Saber into the sky and drives off towards an under construction bridge. And Scavenger and Cyclonus begin to pursue him. So, we cut back to the digging site while Hotshot is being chased, and we see that in Scavenger's absence, Megatron is just having Demolisher punch the ground. It's like,
yes.
Come on, dig faster, you fucking peon. It's like, can you not? Hey, Megatron! I just want you to remember that you have an extremely powerful cannon attached to your back that you can perhaps use to do a bit of blasting.
Nah.
You want to do anything at all to help at all?
That is below Barrel's pay grade. Excuse you.
Yeah, he certainly wouldn't be playing around in the dirt.
Barrel-sama.
He is like, all right, so this is Hotshot's trick. So Cyclonus and Scavenger arrive at the bridge, and they're like, hey, where the fuck did he go? And Hotshot has used Jolt to fly up to hide behind a cliff, sight unseen, cause a rock slide, and then use the rock slide as cover to slash the bridge supports and send Cyclonus and Scavenger tumbling to the ground.
It's good.
Now, luckily, Cyclonus is a helicopter and can fly. Unluckily, Scavenger's a real chonker, and they barely make it back onto the highway. And the Hotshot just holds Scavenger at blade and is like, gotcha. I'm the
got
best
him.
now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And Scavenger's like, yeah, you did pretty good, but don't think this means that you've proven anything, alright? You're still just some punk-ass bitch with a sword.
Yeah. And then he just walks away!
He just leaves. He's like, alright, I'm done here.
Yeah.
I'm a cool, mysterious mercenary guy. I don't gotta stay for this shit. Because clearly he has understood that the battle is lost, because we cut back down to the dig site, and Megatron, Starscream, and Demolisher are completely surrounded. And Megatron's like, God fucking damn it.
But they do not leave empty-handed.
It's true. Wait, why do they leave with again?
They get the yellow guy.
Right, they find another of the yellow panel minicons, I believe, and then speed off. But there's another minicon here too.
Yes.
So after they leave, Smokescreen finds the minicon here, who is Spiral. And I have an interesting note on Spiral. He is a member of the I forget what they're called. I think they're like the stunt action minicon team, I believe.
Yeah.
And they are one of those three are the most highly articulated minicons. they were very posable and are very ornate. Because most mini-cons were very simple figures. Because they're tiny, but those three are like the ones that were like, yeah, let's put a bit more engineering into these guys. But this is when Sideways reveals himself and is like, and he at first he appears in motorbike form and says some extremely ominous shit, which is just assume he always says some extremely ominous shit. That's just how Sideways do. And this is so Optimus asks, like, why don't you identify yourself? Thanks for the help, but I'd like to know who I'm talking to here. So this is when it happens. He transforms, and the motorcycle rider, who has been astride Sideways this entire episode, is revealed to be two minicons combined into one guy. One of them splits off to become Sideways' head. An Autobot badge appears on his chest, and he says, "Back on Cybertron, they call me Sideways. I'm a bit of a drifter."
That's not what they call him.
Yeah, what do they call him?
His name is Doubleface.
Well, now, I'm not sure how you could get shadier than Sideways, but that's pretty untrustworthy.
Yeah, he's like, my name's Doubleface. Oh, is it? Okay, great. It seems great. Name looks great.
What's up? My name's Betrayal Man. Welcome to the team.
Betrayal Man.
Yeah, so this is Sideways. Now, we have talked about how Starscream is weirdly honorable and brave in this continuity. He's very much not the treacherous, two-faced, conniving little freak that he usually is. Not to worry. Doubleface is here. Could you guess that perhaps...
with a name like Doubleface, I think he's going to be very loyal.
He's very loyal. Nothing weird is going on with him at all. He is not... Do not look into his ties to Unicron at all. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It is very interesting to me that they created a character that wasn't connected to any previous IP in either version.
Yeah. It's weird because there was technically a character called Sideways before this.
Was
but
there?
It was a toy only motorcycle from Robots in Disguise, the 2001 toy line.
I'm not sure that actually counts for in terms of them keeping IP.
Yeah, it was a freshly created name, and it's interesting because they kind of backfilled that character from Rid into being another version of Sideways. There was a whole bunch of weird stuff that happened involving a Facebook page called Ask Vector Prime, which Sideways took over.
Oh my god, it was funny.
Yeah, Sideways took over it for a bit and said, actually, all versions of Sideways are the same guy. They're all me. Including the ones that have no, relation to me at all, such as the one from the live-action movies and the one from the Robots in Disguise toy. But yeah, Sideways is a completely new character, basically, from the ground up, name and all, which I quite like. And Sideways is definitely one of the coolest characters in the show. He
is the Sasuke of the show. He's so fucking cool. He has a cool voice, a cool theme. He introduces himself and then immediately goes into incredibly poetic language about how he's they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm like a strong gale that rushes through a blade of grass." And it's like, okay, not sure what that means.
Thanks. Yeah, but immediately after this, everyone is pretty impressed by Sideways, but Alexis is looking at him
yeah,
this guy seems fucking sus. I don't know about this.
And when they get back to the base,
oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah, Jim and Carlos are looking jealous. Finally, it's Billy's time to shine.
That's right. Billy gets to ride around on Sideways.
Yeah.
And Hotshot is mad because all the boys are hanging out with the new guy.
This cool motorcycle man.
Yeah,
and
this cool motorcycle ninja who says she's like, "I'm a drifter. I take wherever the winds bring me. I guess they brought me here." I was like, cool.
Dead or alive.
But luckily, Billy's not going to be left out for long because Spiral is like, hey, why don't we go for a ride too? Which, once again, the minicons being extremely small vehicles is so fucking funny. Because this is a car that is as big as Fred is.
Yeah, and meanwhile, like, Alexa and Rad are inside the base and, like, doing work, and Alexa looks over at Rad and is like, oh, so you're not interested in whatever the fuck that is going on down there? Like, and
Rad's like, no, that dude's fucking sus as hell.
Rad's
I don't trust that guy.
I have something of a fishy feeling about the guy named Doubleface. Can't put my finger on it.
Wonder why I just don't think he's that trustworthy. I don't know why I'm getting this feeling. But yeah, it's very funny.
Welcome to the team.
Yeah, but all they got was like, hey, yeah, welcome to the team, man. This will not bite us in the ass at all. So yeah, that is Gale. We've got 2 new characters, 2 fun new guys. Both of them just real freaks in very different ways.
Yeah.
I forgot how much of a punchman Armada Scavenger is. I love it. He just beats people's asses.
The only person I could think of that he really reminded me of was actually Impactor.
Yeah, just like a fucking bare-fisted, iron-jawed toughman.
Bare-fisted, veteran, mentor kind of character. It's interesting stuff.
Yeah, so that is this week's episodes. Do we got questions on Twitter?
We got a bunch of questions. We have one on Twitter. The one on Twitter is from Morgan, Eater of Brunch, which is the little writer on Sideways a Minicon? Is Sideways a Minicon headmaster? Yes and yes.
Yes, and I believe... no, that's the other one. Yeah, so yeah. Those 2 guys actually have names, as does their combined form, but I can't remember what. Let me look it up real quick because the 2 minicons are, of course, Rook and Crosswise. Rook is the black one who gives him the Autobot symbol. Crosswise we haven't seen yet, but he is the one that is assigned to his Decepticon persona.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, spoilers. He changes sides a lot. Can you tell?
Yeah.
His name is Doubleface. He's normal though. Let me look up his. I need to find the combined form, the writer form.
Yeah, he's Sideways Rook. I'm looking through it. Right, he has a Power Links Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror. That's a cool ass name. Fucking
Mirror,
cool.
which is in the sub. Just wondering if it had. Nope, doesn't have any Japanese name, and it does have a Korean name, though, which is Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror is the combined form. Yeah, so on Discord, we got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, Crosswise's name in the Japanese version, by the way, is Shadow.
Oh, that's cool. So, first up here on the Discord from Casarachnia is, why is it called Armada? Is it because Cyclonus is in it? No. It is called Armada because of the minicons. Because there's a bunch of little guys.
Do you think the sweeps have to do team bonding exercise? Galvatron makes them do 80s aerobics.
No. And if they fuck up, he blows them up.
Yeah. And because it was the 80s. 1986.
It was the 80s. Oh man, I'm just imagining all of the sweeps and Scourge doing the fucking that one aerobics video with the music.
What's the deal with airline food? Well, actually, there's science behind this. It has to do with air pressure. The greater pressure that you're under, the less your taste buds work.
Interesting.
Yep.
So that's why it all tastes kind of bland. Okay.
Yes. Or no, it's not pressure, it's altitude. Something about altitude and how that affects taste buds. Yep.
Yeah, I've never actually had a meal on an airplane. I've only ever had the snacks. I've never flown first class, so I've never learned what the deal with airline food is.
I don't think I've ever flown first class. I've flown business, but regardless, God, I wish that were me, because I have flown long enough flights that I've gotten not 1, not 2, but 3 meals on them.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're on a flight for more than 12 hours, you just get 3 meals. And I've done that at least 6 times.
One time I was flying a late night flight to Chicago, and I was, it's not a long flight from Dallas to Chicago. It's like 3 hours. Like, I'll watch a movie or something. So I actually I loaded up Pacific Rim 2. I was like, well, this movie probably isn't very good, but I guess it's fine to watch it on an airplane. I turned it off after like 10 minutes and just switched to Lady Bird instead, because this fucking movie sucks.
Wait, sorry, which movie were you watching?
I was watching Pacific Rim 2.
Oh.
And as soon as the cop Jaeger appeared, I was like, okay. Shut the fuck up.
There were parts of Pacific Rim 2 that I really enjoyed, but as a whole movie, it is much weaker than the first one.
Yeah, I never got farther enough, because I like I said, I just switched to Lady Bird halfway through, because I was like, also, I think the main thing with the movie is that don't shoot the robots in, like, noonday sunlight. They don't look as good. Everything looks much flatter. There's a reason that all of the fight scenes in Pacific Rim are, like, in the middle of big storms, because it looks cool.
And then to finish us up, do you think Eric Idle could do some cool bike stunts? Could you? What about Odd Albert?
I assume that's a Weird Al joke.
Oh, maybe.
Obviously referencing the scene from Transformers the movie where the Junkions appear and Weird Al plays.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the best scenes in that movie. I love that shit.
Did Eric Idle play someone in that movie?
Eric Idle plays Wreck-Gar.
Oh God! Okay, that makes a lot of sense, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't think Eric Idle would be very good at stunts. He seems like a sort of a foppish British guy.
I don't know, he is really good at walking funny.
That's true. If walking funny is a stunt, then Eric Idle is like the premier stuntman of that field. Weird Al? I don't know.
I don't think either of them. They're both like old white nerdy men. I don't think either of them could do 6 stunts. Thanks, Cass, though.
They're both old now. I also don't want Weird Al to go anywhere near a bike stunt. I don't want him to get hurt. Keep yourself pristine, Al, for as long as possible, please.
From Stephen Marshmallow. Oh man, how would the Decepticons handle a weekend-long team building retreat? Poorly.
Disastrous. Like, this set specifically, terrible. I mean, everyone would just be endlessly annoyed by Cyclonus, who would be unable to focus on anything. Demolisher would just whine the whole time. Starscream would be obstinate, and Megatron would just be berating them the whole time. Like, what would they even do? What team building exercise would you want to see these 4 jackasses try to do? Yeah.
And as a follow-up to that, from Cass again, who would be the bot they all have to carry on a stretcher along a forest trail? I'm gonna say Sandstorm.
Yeah, he would
get his rotors fucked up in a tree.
He would give himself a concussion somehow.
Yeah. From Hornmy Starscream.
Oh, this question.
My time has come to shine, folks. As someone with no prior knowledge of the Transformers IP listening to the podcast, your intro to Trucks by Lemon Demon begs some important questions. Do Cybertronians fuck? What are their social dynamics? I.e., are we down the line going to be exposed to concepts comparable to Homestuck shipping grids or whatever the fuck was going on in Isaac Asimov's novel, The Gods Themselves? All right. Nero, do you mind if I take this one?
The floor is yours.
Okay. So, canonically, Transformers do not fuck. The only possible exception to this is the Bayverse movies, where they they have testicles, dude.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about the Devastator balls. God damn it. Why did you make me remember Devastator scrot?
They got testicles, which does suggest that and Wheelie humps Michaela, so there are
Stop talking about Revenge of the Fallen.
I'm begging you to stop talking about Revenge of the Fallen. So that is the only possible exception. They probably do fuck in the Bayverse movies.
I don't want to see those things fuck. That just looks like a car crash.
Literally, that's what it is.
Yep.
That's how they do it. Canonically, no. There's no fucking in Transformers. They either spring from the Well of Life Vector Sigma, or they are made to order, and that's very complicated, but...
There's one continuity where they reproduce through budding. That's not one you see a lot, but it did happen once.
Whatever happens, canonically, no. Fanonly, there are many ways that Transformers fuck. There are 4 main ones that I'll just go over really, really quickly here. The first one is spark sex, which is literal soul bonding, so Sparks is the canonical name for what is a physical thing that lives in most Transformers' chests. That is both, like, their heart and their soul. There's, like, a lot of spiritual associations along the spark, but it is like a real physical thing that they need to live. And in spark sex, they open their spark chambers to each other and they merge their sparks together. That's spark sex. Tactile is exactly what it sounds like. They touch each other and then they get off that way. Plug and play, they have ports and cords that they plug into each other and they create feedback loops. And then, oh, by the way, orgasms in in Fanon are called overloads. And
wait a minute, that means there's a guy there are characters named Overload in the franchise.
Doesn't matter. His name is
Does
Cum.
that mean...
His name is Cum.
there's an Overload in this show.
His name is Cum. And they overload that way, and then the most human analog is called Sticky. Yes, that is actually what it is called. It's also called Valve Plug, in which everyone has Robodicks and Robovages. The Robodicks are called either spikes or plugs, and the Robovages are called valves, and they fuck that way. Yeah. For the second part of this question, in terms of social dynamics, so there are at least 3 canon relationships that I can think of. A traditional romantic relationship is called conjux and dura. It basically means you're married. Your BFF forever, or the closest, unfortunately, as per this question, the closest analog to what an amica in dura is a moirail. Like, that is the closest you're gonna get to an amica. It basically means you're BFF forever. I love you so much. And I'm going to make it official in a relationship.
You have a thing you say and everything, like a ritual.
Yeah. So that's conjunct and amica in dura. And then there are also trines, which exist only for seekers, so only the flyers like Starscream. This trines were born from the fact that Hasbro was super cheap in the 1980s and realized that they could just repaint the same model and sell it as a new toy. So
we got this plain guy. What if we made one of them black, one of them blue, one of them white, and we just sold it 3 times?
Right, exactly. So for some reason they only did this with the flyer toys, but basically every time they introduced a character that flies, they had like 2 other characters that were the exact same model, just with different colors. So everyone looked at that and was like, all right, so flyers come in 3. And so they created the concept of the trine, which is this, like, it's not a romantic relationship. It's not even necessarily a friendly relationship, as we see with Starscream and Thundercracker and Skywarp in most of their iterations. But it is like a formal relationship that's like different than friendships, and different than romantic interests.
Sounds like triplets, basically. Like, they're 3 guys
kind of
who basically look alike, and they are connected through something.
They do feel obligation to each other. It is like familial. I do think that is like probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and of course for the first 2, the amica and fuck, I forgot what the married one is. Yeah, Conjux and Dura. You can read all about that in IDW 1. Those are talked about a lot in Where the Meets the Eye and Lost Light. And for all of the various things that you talk about that I would rather not repeat, you can find so many places to read about those.
AO3 is
leisure.
Free, baby.
That, and you know, that's just the emotional labor of explaining Transformers.
Yeah, I'm not. I have everyone. Please appreciate the fact that I've just put in the emotional labor of explaining Transformers porn to you all.
I just can't get over that they're called spikes.
Yep, they're called spikes or plugs and valves.
See, plugs is better. Spikes, I don't know the imagery of that. Regardless.
And hey, bottoming is called getting spiked.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So
I can't get over the fact that there's a guy. We're gonna get to the part where Overload is introduced in the show, and he's just cum. I can't look at him now.
Yeah, his name is Cum. Finally, from Casey Trekosaurus, what does your cool motorbike look like, and what stunt do you do on it? Do you make it out of live? I think it probably, if I had a motorbike, it'd be nice and, like, basic and black. It would probably not be a stunt bike, and if I did try to do a stunt on it, I would definitely die.
I have terrible balance, and I have no wish to get on a motorcycle. I will simply appreciate them from afar. I have a friend who's way into bikes. I could probably go ask him what a cool bike is, but I don't know. Bikes are just kind of cool. Wouldn't do a stunt on them, though.
Wow, cool motorbike.
Wow, cool motorbike. Well, that was Prime Cuts. I hope you learned a lot today, listeners.
I have an entire PowerPoint. This is not a joke. This is not a bit. I have an entire PowerPoint about how Transformers fucking fan, and if anyone would like to see it.
I looked through it. It's very thorough. So, of course, you can find... we are part of NoiseSpace.xyz, our fine podcast network that we are thrilled to be a part of, and we can use our platform to describe such things as plug and play.
Yep.
And you can listen to other shows on Noise Space, which perhaps will not explain Transformers sex to you, in which case, why even bother listening to, well, regardless, those other shows are also fine and good. But they aren't as educational as ours, I'll say that.
There's something for everyone on Noise Space. You can listen to our leftist podcast there, Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die. You can listen to a video game music podcast, Slappers Only. You can listen to our good friends over at Kyle XY, which is not spelled the way you think it is, but is about the shows.
Why?
Yeah. But is about the show you think it is about. You can listen to Nightmare and Era, which is about creepypasta and all of the really bad, specifically really bad creepypasta. There's so much on Noise Space. Give it a listen. You can also find us on Twitter at Pot of Greedcast, and also in our bio, and as well as in the description of this episode, you can find a link to our Discord, a permanent link to our Discord that we would love you to use. Join our Discord. Please do it.
Join the Discord. We want to get it popping in here. You can find me on Twitter at Dragon Smoocher, and you can find all sorts of other projects I have elsewhere, such as at Podcast to Power, the She-Ra show, the She-Ra podcast I did with my friend Jane. You can also find our follow-up to that, which should be starting up pretty soon. Radio Free Heidelin, a comprehensive companion to Final Fantasy XIV Online over at Heidelin Radio. And you can find me talking about the accursed House of Mouse over at Disney-Pod on Twitter. I believe this week it is... I have forgotten what movie we're doing this week. Oh dear, I should probably go remember that at some point.
And I've been Audrey. You can find me at Optimum on Prime on Tumblr and Twitter. You can also
Oliver and Company. It's Oliver and Company.
Fantastic.
Sorry, I just remembered.
No, I'm very glad for you. You can also listen to my other podcast that I do with a bunch of Noise Space folks called Pot of Greed. which you can find at Pot of Greed Cast on Twitter, and also on the Noise Space Network, and it's about Yu-Gi-Oh! And we just started season 3 of GX, and I'm having fun. And that's basically me. So until next time, I am going to say something cryptic and indecipherable, transform and roll out.
So long, suckers, I say as I rapidly oscillate my allegiance between Autobot and Decepticon, turn into a motorbike, and disappear into a cloud of dust. And when it clears, Mirror is lying dead, or Billy is lying dead on the pavement.
me flicking my allegiance on and off. Welcome to hell! Welcome to hell!
Peach.
Peach!